This Starbucks case review was prepared by Brent Gibson, Sharon Partee, Ben Wan, and Kenneth Woodruff for the purpose of analyzing the problems Starbucks faces as it relates to international expansion, the expansion opportunities, and Starbucks objectives. Also included is an analysis of the external and internal environment affecting Starbucks expansion, identifying and evaluating alternatives, and finally, a recommended decision, course of action, and implementation of same. Since being founded in 1971, Starbucks, with its heritage being commemorated by Starbucks Pike Roast, one of its most popular blends of coffee, has come a long way from its beginnings of only selling roasted coffee beans, not brewed coffee, ready to drink immediately. Howard Schultz, the company's current CEO, brought his vision of the coffee bar culture to fruition. Inspired by a transformational trip to Italy, he emulated the Italian coffee shop's ability to create a sense of community and belonging among his customers with a three-pronged value proposition of premium coffee, superior service, and an upscale coffeehouse experience. Beginning in 1987 with only 6 retail stores, a roasting plant, and fewer than 100 employees, revenue in the U.S. increased from $10 million in 1988 to $750 million in 1991. His leadership took Starbucks from a solid small business with a strong reputation and devoted customer base to a very large player in the food and restaurant business. With sales of $21 billion in fiscal 2016, the company is a global diversified provider of premium coffee. The company has grown domestically and internationally based on its value proposition of three key elements: premium coffee products, superior customer service, and providing a unique coffeehouse atmosphere. Starbucks coffee products were set apart from the traditional brands offered in the United States market by ensuring quality through select choice of suppliers worldwide, shipping beans in special bags to seal in flavor, and using high-tech gas-fired roasting machines operated only by trained roasters. Preserving product quality was the motivating factor in Starbucks' refusal to franchise. Superior customer service. The development of a talented and committed workforce was another factor contributing to its success. Remembering customers' names and favorite drinks, priding themselves on customer focus. We're not a coffee company serving people, we're a people company serving coffee. And the coffee house atmosphere. Focus on providing a warm and comfortable experience for customers. Starbucks consistently executed the details of the coffee experience. It has become known as a third place or setting other than work or home that offers an ideal location for informal interaction and enjoyment for every kind of group, whether it be friends, co-workers, couples, students with an upscale modern space to socialize, work, or just enjoy a snack. The problem: despite its high growth and success over the past 30 years, Starbucks' U.S. growth began to decline around 2008 due to the economic downturn and by taking on too many new products and brand extensions. The customer base also changed to a younger, less educated, and less sophisticated consumer who did not perceive Starbucks as exclusive and high quality. Starbucks has had limited success in the foreign overseas market, despite their efforts to partner with retailers based in the country of choice by acquiring a local business and/or relying on research teams to obtain the necessary information to satisfactorily understand the cultures and provide what customers want. While successful in some markets, they still have not been able to capture the full essence of many foreign markets. Additionally, contending with the competition, misunderstood perceptions, and or just not meeting the mark have presented challenges with the foreign market, forcing them to close stores and withdraw from Australia and the Forbidden City market in Beijing. The opportunity: Starbucks has 5,500 international stores in 50 countries. There is still much opportunity to tap into international markets with licensed cafes and supermarkets, bookstores, and other venues. Japan, United Kingdom, Moscow, and China, which is the largest market, are very successful. The objective: to enter new international markets with the ability to capture the different tastes and expectations that offer customized products specific to each country's culture while still offering the same value proposition, upscale coffee house experience, high quality products, exemplary service, while still remaining small.
In 2009, Starbucks' business landscape was 17,000 stores worldwide. And internationally, this included 5,500 stores in over 50 countries. Overall, Starbucks employed more than 160,000 employees across the world. Internationally, a couple key international markets included Japan, which had 850 stores, as well as the UK, which included 700 stores. Now, Starbucks' international expansion strategy was usually through joint ventures and M&A. A couple examples are in Japan, they started a joint venture with Japan-based realtor Sazaby, and then they also came up with joint ventures in Taiwan and Shanghai as well. An example of M&A included in the UK, where Starbucks acquired a London-based coffee retailer and then entered the country that way. Product mix and innovation tailored to local markets were really the key drivers of international growth for Starbucks. An example of this is Japan's destination line of coffee drinks. And Starbucks management realized that ready-to-drink coffee was such a bigger business in Japan and America, and then changed their business in Japan to take this into account. However, Starbucks did experience some foreign expansion challenges. This includes challenges in Russia, China, Ethiopia, and Australia. Challenges in an example of this is when Starbucks tried to enter China, they opened up stores in the Forbidden City in Beijing, and this was not looked at as being positive from the Chinese, from native Chinese. There were several factors that limited domestic growth for Starbucks. The first being the economic recession. A global recession was caused in 2007 and 2008 by the collapse of the United States housing market. This had an effect on consumer spending habits all over the world. There were several studies that showed that 60% of Americans after the recession, and these are Americans across all income levels, were cutting back on expensive coffee purchases, with 90% saying that the main reason was to save money. And this hit Starbucks' wallet especially hard. Another reason for limited domestic growth was Starbucks' changing customer profile. Some of the new Starbucks customers were a little younger, a little less educated, and a little less sophisticated, meaning that when the global recession hit and people started cutting back on spending money, specifically on things such as coffee purchases, these new customers were less likely to visit Starbucks locations when they were trying to save money. One of another factors that limited domestic growth was that Starbucks started to introduce too many product offerings. It was viewed that Starbucks had ventured into other businesses such as movies, books, and music, and this was viewed as being it weakened the overall brand of Starbucks. A driving force in the external environment for Starbucks was the increased competition in the specialty coffee market. Now this can be bucketed into two specific categories: competition from regional specialty coffee chains, as well as competition from national fast food chains. Starting with regional specialty chains, this is going to include California's Peet's Coffee, as well as Minneapolis-based Caribou. Peet's Coffee kind of attacked Starbucks and said that they had roasted to order coffee versus Starbucks, which was made in the morning and then not really ready to order. Caribou offered a unique atmosphere, as well as the CEO said that Caribou is the quote-unquote most non-Starbucks coffee shop out there. Now, competition from national fast food chains is going to include competitors such as Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, 7-Eleven, Yum Brands, as well as Panera Bread even got into the coffee business. Obviously, the two biggest being McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts. McDonald's came out with their Brazilian bold brewed coffee, and Dunkin' Donuts was known to offer specialty discounts on certain days to combat Starbucks' popularity. The first way to look at Starbucks' internal environment was through the value chain analysis. Now, Starbucks practices differentiation to create a competitive advantage along its value chain. Specifically, Starbucks' differentiation has three key elements in their value proposition. That being, one, offering premium coffee products to consumers, two, offering superior customer service, and three, offering upscale, unique coffee house experiences. Starting with the premium coffee products, Starbucks made it known that they used carefully chosen suppliers worldwide to ensure that the beans purchased are of the highest quality and that the farms and the farmers they choose embody integrity. They also paid fair prices to these farmers, as well as they participate in what's called their Shared Planet program. Secondly, the superior customer service. Starbucks leadership was very big on customer service and the customer experience at all of their shops. They promoted customer-focused practices by valuing and their training through their employees, extensive training to their employees, which they referred to as partners. They also offered incentives such as healthcare and stock options to reduce employee turnover. Examples of customer service was many baristas at coffee shops would know their customers by name and by face, and they would have their orders already made to order before they even came up to order them. The third is the upscale, unique coffee house experience. Starbucks coffee shops really became known as a third place for informal interaction and enjoyment with friends, coworkers, and colleagues. If customers were planning a meeting or if they were doing a school project with some of their schoolmates, a lot of times they would choose Starbucks as a location to meet. The second way to analyze Starbucks' internal environment is through the balanced scorecard analysis. Now, the balanced scorecard analysis looks at four components of a company's internal environment. The first component is the customer. The second component is the internal business processes. The third component is learning, growth, and innovation. And the fourth component is financial analysis. Now, regarding the customer, Starbucks customers consider the product and the service to be superior to competitor brands. This shows because in 2009, consumers ranked Starbucks coffee #1 in a Zagat consumer fast food survey. So Starbucks really believed that they provided the customers a superior experience versus their competitors. Moving on to internal business processes. Now this could really be improved as Starbucks grew. Due to increased product offerings, internal business processes have continued to become more and more complex. Outside the core coffee drinks, specialty drinks could require up to over 10 steps to make, cutting down on efficiency and in time management for the baristas at Starbucks coffee shops. Starbucks was not willing to increase the number of in-store employees, which would have saved time in these steps, and that ended up hurting the internal environment at Starbucks. Continuing the balanced scorecard analysis, moving on to the third component being the learning, growth, and innovation. At Starbucks, regional management teams are really given authority to make local business decisions. This was as a result of decision making was decentralized, so it was not made at the global headquarters, but it was made at local coffee shops. This allowed Starbucks employees to be empowered as the regional teams were given the authority to make business decisions that were best for that location. Employees also went through extensive training programs, which added to the learning, growth, and innovation of the Starbucks internal environment. Financially, Starbucks, while they experienced compounded revenue growth year over year, this did slow dramatically in 2008 and 2009, while same store sales were negative. By 2008, year over year revenue growth was only about 11%, which the company was used to about mid 20% revenue growth in the previous years. Same store growth was consistently in the upper single digits, but that actually dipped into the negatives. It was negative 3% in 2008, and this was driven by local location cannibalization and market saturation from other specialty coffee competitors.
Based off of the case study and analysis of the company's strengths, it seems that the company has two alternative directions that it can take to keep growing. Their first alternative was to focus on strengthening their existing positions and to also expand the product offerings. The company has many locations throughout the world, but with that came a sort of commoditization of the brand. Customers didn't feel like it was a special experience anymore. Because of this, the company should focus on improving existing stores and tuning them to maximize profitability by adjusting to local taste. Spend to increase training, focus on making the Starbucks experience more prominent. The company should also spend on training to make each barista a coffee and customer expert. The company would also benefit by increasing their advertising budget to let customers know why the Starbucks experience is special. Starbucks should also focus on the lessons learned in Japan, which was that to grow, they need to make smart, strategic steps that would generate organic growth and brand excitement. Another bright spot for the company was the development of VIA, the company's new premium instant coffee product that was set to launch in fall 2009. The premium instant coffee market was estimated to be valued at $17 billion, and Starbucks could be in the number one position if they made the investments in this brand. Importantly, this customer segment is made up of people who would not otherwise visit a location and cannibalize sales. The second alternative was to instead expanding carefully selected international locations that would value the three-pronged value proposition of Starbucks, which are premium coffee products, superior customer service, and a unique coffeehouse experience. New locations would help scale back the levels of oversaturation that the company currently has, which would help keep the Starbucks experience special. Customers value Starbucks locations as a third place to work or relax, and importantly, this is a capability that McDonald's and Dunkin' Donuts cannot match. Customers also do not mind paying for the product and being seen with the cups as a type of status symbol, as has been seen in China, where the average income is only $1,300 a year. The customers really enjoy seeing Starbucks as a luxury experience, and that's something they value. The company would also do well to continue to develop expertise in identifying and developing products for local markets that customers want. This has proven to work out very well in the past, and poorly when it has been ignored, as in Australia.
Starbucks' international expansion strategy focuses on their current core competencies. Starbucks brand is built on selling the finest products with supreme customer service in clean, well-maintained, and well-run stores that give all customers that visit the unique Starbucks experience. Starbucks' international strategy purposely differs from its domestic approach by searching out strategic joint ventures or licensing opportunities for other companies to own and operate its stores. This gives Starbucks the advantage to leverage local partners' knowledge and internal benefits that help with things like identifying premium locations, navigating complex local tax issues and government regulations, and it gives Starbucks the ability to tailor the stores to a more localized appeal. This forward-looking focus in growth strategy includes emerging markets such as Brazil, India, China, South Africa, and Mexico. These are areas with a strong middle-class population that offers significant growth opportunities to add new stores and new customers who are willing to pay for the premium experience. The course of action Starbucks is taking for their international expansion, including the emerging and developing markets, is to leverage their size, giving them cost benefits when purchasing materials, their experience dealing with multinational business, their financial and operational efficiencies, which will help drive their cost in the future, as diversified product alone will not be enough as the brand matures and needs cost efficiencies as well. The expansion of their retail operations, selling their packaged products, iced beverages, and merchandise through large box retailers will be continued. This potential is not yet fully realized internationally and provides Starbucks strong opportunity for growth of their core brand. Under their international strategy, their ability to transfer those core competencies and capabilities between countries while leveraging the local tailored taste of each store will allow them to continue the global expansion in an organic way that does not cannibalize same-store sales. As Starbucks begins implementation of their international expansion strategy, their focus will be on teas and fresh juice mixes that are offered in countries that are traditionally not coffee drinking while building their main core products. As consumer tastes change and lifestyles point towards more snack and beverage options, Starbucks plans to tailor those menus locally and give more healthy offerings to its products mix. Because their main supply, coffee beans, has such a significant impact on their value chain and traditionally has wide fluctuation in market prices, Starbucks will work to control the costs by implementing hedge-like strategies in locking in future contracts for the beans, paying fair price to farmers in order to control future costs and be able to manage costs year over year at a greater extent. Looking at their financials, they currently invest very little in advertising and marketing initiatives. Starbucks will make significant investments in those initiatives to face off increased competition as they expand in a global market. In addition, Starbucks does not introduce its new products in mass. However, they follow a product innovation and introduction phase, where they introduce products in new markets one at a time, which gives them the ability to measure the acceptance from customers and tailor those offerings to each individual market. And finally, Starbucks is selective about introducing certain products like ready-to-drink beverages in the new countries like Japan, Taiwan, Korea, etc., that will accept the new products versus the coffee products offered elsewhere.